Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have a Golden Bachelorette finale to get to. I'm going to share who Joan chose and who chose her and all the details of their relationship and everything we saw last night. I take notes. I read them back to you. No edits, no jump cuts, just me and you guys. And by the way, I posted a video last night because, I still blurred out the thumbnail for some people. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. But I posted a video last night on the social page for the Rush Hour podcast with Dave Neal, and people were complaining about the spoilers. I posted this at 10 p.m. East Coast time. I'm sorry, starting at 10 p.m. East Coast time, if you do not want the spoiler, you have to get off the internet. This isn't, the movie The Sixth Sense where you can't spoil the ending or, hey, everyone drowns in Titanic. You know what I mean? Starting at 10 p.m. East Coast time, it's over. I used to live on the West Coast. If you don't want to be spoiled in that 3-hour window, you got to get off social media. That's not my problem. That's yours. Okay, so anyhow, let's get into it. The Golden Finale recap. We open with Joan crying with her pal Nancy. Give Nancy a raise. Nancy was just unbothered here. She gets to hang out in Bora Bora on the cruise ship. Lovely. Nancy says it's okay to cry. And then I guess Joan is sad that Pascal couldn't love her. Nancy says, you are not unlovable, which is a reminder for all of us. We're all full of love and we're all able to receive love. Keep those hearts open. Chalk meets some of Joan's family. So there they are doing the family thing. And not all the family, but most of them. I don't think they got to meet Joan's mom, but the kids and stuff like that. Chalk said he comes in ready to sell himself. He's clear. Says he wants to spend his life with Joan. Joan's son says he likes Chalk, so that's really good. They meet and looking very nice. His outfit's blending in with the pillows. Very similar vibes happening there. And there's the son. So he says, and by the way, I love that he's got cult leader glasses. It's a good look, but some people were saying that her son looks like Chris Harrison, so I thought I'd pull up my Photoshop and see if we could tell. They are pretty close. I mean, he looks, maybe, oh boy, do we need some X-Files music? Could it be, hold on, that Joan had a baby with Chris Harrison? Could this have happened? I mean, you never know. Hold on, the wrong sound bed. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, is Joan's son Chris Harrison's son? When you pull Chris Harrison to the side here, let's see if I can do that. They're essentially the same guy. And again, if I could just use my editing skills here to put the opacity of Chris Harrison down to 50%, you can really see that it's the same person when you move them in and out. Who cares? It's all right. Just doing some fun work here. It's no, of course that's not. With all due respect to Joan's family, I'm sure Chris Harrison had nothing to do with it. Although, I'll tell you what, the way Chris looks at me sometimes, I think I'm getting knocked up. So, yeah, he's got those eyes. So anyway, they have great conversation. Joan said she was worried her kids would be mad at her for moving on. And then the son, of course, is like, no, what are you talking about? We love you. Honest conversations. We love that. We love when a family can open up and be honest. I mean, because to be quite honest, so many families out there don't have any real conversations whatsoever. And I'm all about it. You know what? Invite me to your Thanksgiving and I'll get your family to have a real conversation. You know what I mean? So, just break the, so get into the culture issues. All right. So he says he's going, okay. So then Chalk gets his final date with Joan. And this is where he really lays it on the line. There he is, popping champagne. Like he's in the LMFAO band. Okay, popping champagne. Okay. Anyhow, champagne showers. He says he's going to protect her and love her forever. Chalk gives her a gift, a keychain, says he wants to buy them a place in New York City, which, by the way, super cute, but also kind of buying her vote. You know what I mean? It's like, well, before you decide who you want to pick, I've got right here a 30-year mortgage on a penthouse suite. No, it was very sweet. So he gives her a gift and says he wants to buy them a place in New York City. And I'm like, damn, Chalk, do you know real estate prices in New York City? Do you know what the condo fees are there? You're worried about HOAs in the Midwest. Wait till you see $6,000 a month just to have some guy take the trash out. But we like a good bribe. You can bribe me. Hey, Chuck, you want to bribe me? I'll live with you guys. He told her he wants to marry her, and she didn't say I love you back. But, of course, she said she wasn't going to say it back. But she clearly felt it, as we are foreshadowing here. Guy's turn. He sprays 3 pumps of cologne onto his neck. Did you guys notice that? Listen, for my generation, 3 pumps of cologne is aggressive. But look, it's the finale. Guy's got to take his chances. You don't want to lose out, and the final decision is, well, you didn't have strong enough cologne, guy. He's like, well, Chuck did 4 sprays of cologne. You only did 3, so I'm going to choose Chuck. I live with a highly sensitive person, my wife, Tasha. If you spray cologne on the other side of the house, she'll be like, babe, what do you smell like that for? So what I like to do is just a little dabble on the wrist. I like to give myself a little bit of the old one over on the lymph nodes. And then, because to be quite honest, working from home, I don't know about you guys, working from home, often I'll put cologne on just so I can smell it. Is that sad? Anyway, I don't know. I'll blink if you need to save me. Anyhow, let's get into what else we got here. So anyway, she's a soft dumping guy. Joan reveals she knows she is in love with Chuck. So the audience is shocked at this moment. Shocked with Chuck at the moment here. She's shocked with Chuck. Maybe, I don't know. But in the moment here, the live audience finds out for the first time, oh my gosh, she's about to dump Guy. Or as the French say, Guy. Because before this, there was still this like, well, who's the dude going to be? Joan is really good at this breakup. He sees he's being dumped. She says, my heart belongs to somebody else. She did a really good job. My generation, we do a lot of the platitudes. It's not you, it's me. It's like, shut up, it's me. Was it too much cologne? What was it? Not enough? What do you want some Abercrombie and Fitch cologne? Remember we used to go into Abercrombie and Fitch and you'd get a headache because it's just like club music and cologne, but somehow you left there with a $200 pair of jeans because the person who was working the stacking the shelves was hot. Anyway, weird business model. So anyhow, Guy looks devastated. Close-up shots of his lips quivering. Shocking emotional moment. Now, look, I got to be honest. Part of my view of Guy was swayed by the issues he had with his ex that came out, which, of course, was his ex calling for a restraining order and then dropping that, and they mutually agreed to move on. But, of course, it was a relatively messy breakup. But everything we've seen from Guy on this show has been top-notch. He was there to help out with Charles, and as Charles had a really big moment, moving on from his late wife's, the feelings of regret when his wife died. He helped out, I believe, with the captain when it came to singing the captain's song. Guy here was a solid dude. To be quite honest, Guy could fit the role of the next Golden Bachelor. Again, he had that restraining order that he spoke about. It was dropped. It was a temporary restraining order, which again, on paper, if you're going through a breakup, these temporary restraining orders aren't necessarily a bad thing, but they're just like different levels. Like there's monsters and then there's, oh, my ex confronted me because I was cheating on someone. You know what I mean? Like, God forbid Guy in real life found out that the lady he was married to was seeing a guy at a restaurant, and he came up to confront him. I don't know if that's what happened. I'm just saying it's like not the end of the world if that's the case, as long as it's not violent and things like that. Whatever. What do I know? Nothing. So is that enough to keep him from being the next Golden Bachelor? Who knows? But for sure he got the edit right here is what I'm trying to say. So he's devastated. He says, I felt so good today, and I'm ready to let it all out. And yeah, he felt good. And then but look, Guy's a catch. Who knows? Who knows if you mesh or not with him, but he's a relative, I'm assuming a wealthy doctor, right? Good looking, guessing he's dabbling in a little bit of that testosterone, which I don't blame you. Ladies, you can do your filler and men can do testosterone, but I'm telling you, those arms in your late 50s, early 60s, those are good looking arms. I'm not blaming them whatsoever. Testosterone replacement, look into it with your doctors. I'm 39. I haven't dabbled in it yet, but I'm looking around that corner. I'm 6 months to the day. Actually, 1 week less than 6 months away from my 40th. Do I jack up on testosterone and become, the carrot top of recappers? I don't know. Maybe. As long as it doesn't mess with my hair. Last thing, I'd rather be a beta boy with good hair than a jacked guy with a bald spot. Okay. None of this matters. He says, audience was in tears. They kiss goodbye. How poetic. The rain shows up. Joan and Guy reunite in front of a live audience. It was interesting when they broke up, they kissed on the mouth. Let me ask the older generation, my boomers and Gen Xers. Did people just kiss on the mouth? Is that a thing that some people just always kiss on the mouth? And it wasn't like a sexy kiss. It was just kind of like a, the way you kiss your aunt, like just a dry, do you kiss your aunt? I don't, I don't, but I'm just saying it's a dry kiss. It was very, I don't know. It wasn't like, there was no moisture involved with the kiss. It was an arid desert-like kiss. But either way, they kissed when they left, and I guess that's what you do. So here they are reuniting. Joan tells him he's an amazing guy and has been missing him, and it's like at what point, at this point in the show, she has not yet gotten engaged to Chuck. So you're wondering, okay, careful. She's like, I've missed you. It's been a while, and you're like, whoa, careful. Your man's probably backstage like, oh, right, really? But in some of the cases, you do see that there might be regret over the decision. I don't see that here. I think she's pretty confident in the choice she made. And then he does the thing he has to do, which is like, what did I do wrong? And she's like, well, I like a guy who does 2 pumps of cologne. And he's like, no! I was going to do the 2. I went with the 3. I didn't want one side to have I didn't want to go center and then 1 on one side. And then I got a heavy smell and then nothing over here. I went with the 3. I should have done the 2. All right. So anyhow, Chuck, all right. So we leave there. So we go back to Chuck. Oh boy, here it is. One of the most beautiful setups they've ever had. And credit to the sound guy. No wind ruffling when it came to this episode. No wind ruffling, which is what happened. That's when you get in implosive sounds. That's wind ruffling. But they put these, they put the big, hairy mic cover over it, and it usually stops it. But hey, you can't get that sound in post. All right. Can't fix it. So anyway, we go to Chuck. Chuck says he never thought he'd get a chance to do this again. And that's why we love the Golden Bachelor, Bachelorette. It is a second lot on life. No offense to Jen Tran, God bless her, but she's 26 or whatever. She's going to get plenty of shots at love. But when you're in your 50s, 60s, a lot of times people either call it quits or they're set in their ways and they're worried about their family. So this has just been amazing to see them get a chance to do this. Joan tells him he's an amazing guy and has been missing him. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Joan pulls up in a white dress on board her cruise ship. Joan tells the camera she wants to spend the night with Chuck. Chuck is so poetic. Says he's going to risk having his heart ripped out when he proposes because it's worth it. Because he loves her. Chuck says he will give Joan her word that he will honor her late husband by loving her every day. And then they show the live shots of them. They fall in love. They do the whole video they do. We're engaged. And then they're like, are you going to get married soon? And they're like, well, we're not going to do it like Gary and Teresa. We're not going to do that. They jumped the gun. Gary and Teresa jumped the gun. Why don't we move to New York and see if we like the pizza there first? But Joan is every woman ever who got engaged. Like, take that, bitch. Mother effer. Here it is. Come on and get it. Chuck's like, I've got 3 pumps of cologne on for her. Anyway, very, very, boom, right in your face. Take that, suckers. Eat on that. Anyhow, so there they are. They call Joan's mom, and Joan's mom's like, cool, awesome, fun. And then there they are in the live shot. Very nice. Everyone's there having a blast. And then the moment comes where Jesse says, you guys like Disney World, so I'm going to take you and your whole family to Disney World. And this doesn't seem great, but having just come back from Disney World and seen how expensive Disney World is, this is like a $50,000, right? Disney World is like $300 per person per day. You want to get the Lightning Pass? You know what? Factor in hotels. It's like $400 per person per day because you got to get in. You got people want churros and you want the Space Odyssey and you got to get the bubbles and all this crazy stuff, right? So $400 per day, you get 20 people. You go for 5 days. I mean, you got to take out a mortgage to do that. So good on them. Although I'm sure ABC, owned by Disney, they got a free package. But anyhow, we're happy. Now look, I read some comments. The world is how you look at it. Let's put it this way. You decide you live in a friendly world or an unfriendly world. Either way, you'll be right. And some people were like, oh, Chuck seemed cold or he was this or that. I don't get it. I don't get the issue that people have with Chuck. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He tells her how he feels. I mean, what do we think? He's going to use this for clout and then go cheat on Joan? I mean, highly unlikely. They seem like they're meant for each other. And, if someone has an issue with Chuck, I would say, look into that projection you feel right there and work that out with your therapist. That's what I would say. What do I know? Not much, I guess. I'll be live on Patreon right after this. Or actually, I'm live right now on Patreon, patreon.com/Dave Neal. Wrong one. And then there is my podcast. You can scan this link right there if you want to download the podcast, where I have all of your other entertainment and pop culture news, which this week is heavily driven by the UFOs. That's right. There is a UFO. It has arrived, and it has abducted this guy who claims to be Chris Harrison's illegitimate child. There it is. Did you get that? All right, there it is. Anyhow, no, we're happy for them. We're happy for you. You guys are happy for me. We're all happy. Go subscribe to the podcast. We'll be back with more content right after this.